Welcome back to another deep dive. Today we are not just reading a book, we're stepping into a simulation. And I have to warn you right off the bat, the temperature in the simulation is set to lethal.
Yeah, that's really the only word for it. We're not talking about a pleasant summer afternoon where, you might need a little extra iced tea.
No, not at all. We are talking about a heat that feels like a physical weight, like a presence in the room with you.
It's an incredibly oppressive setting. And the scary thing is, we're looking at a near-future scenario that feels less like science fiction and more like a weather forecast for next Tuesday.
Mhm.
It's uncomfortable, it's visceral, and it feels very, very real.
The source material, it describes this heat as a hand clamped upon the mouth.
Or a pistol against one's head.
A pistol against one's head. Just imagine that for a second. The air itself is holding you hostage.
Wow.
So, we're going to Kolkata, India, in a world that has, well, it's fundamentally broken under the strain of climate change. But, and this is the key thing I want to emphasize, we aren't looking at the politicians or the scientists in some high-tech situation room.
Right. That's the usual approach, isn't it? When we talk about climate narratives, we're almost always looking at the macro level. Treaties, carbon credits, global summits.
All the policies.
All the policy stuff. But today, we are on the ground.
Yeah.
We are right there in the street level humidity. We're looking at the people who have to live with those decisions after the cameras turn off.
We are diving into the sensational new novel, A Guardian and a Thief by Megha Majumdar. And the reason we picked this for the deep dive is because it offers something that, data simply can't. It offers texture.
That's a great word for it. Texture.
It tells us what the end of the world tastes like.
And, spoiler alert, it tastes like synthetic ruby fish and cricket flour.
Exactly. We are going to get into all of that, the algae that smells like the bottom of the ocean, the complete and utter absence of something as simple as a cauliflower. But at the heart of this sweltering, starving city, there is a very human story. We have a family on the brink of escape. They have these golden tickets called climate visas, which we will definitely unpack, that will get them to Michigan, of all places.
To the promised land of Ann Arbor. It sounds almost mythical in this context, doesn't it? Like something out of a fairy tale.
It really does. And then we have a thief, a young man, a climate refugee himself, whose desperation is going to collide with this family's escape plan in a way that threatens to derail absolutely everything.
And that collision, I think, brings us to the real mission of this deep dive. We aren't just here to recap a plot. You can get a summary on Wikipedia if you want that.
Right. This is about the why.
It is. We are here to unpack the morality of survival. The title is so clean, so binary, a guardian and a thief. But as we peel back the layers of this story, those labels start to slide around. They get slippery.
That is the big question we are tackling today. In a world of extreme shortage, who is the guardian and who is the thief? When the police stop answering the phone, when the government is just a fading memory, what replaces them?
What fills that vacuum? Is it community? Is it kindness?
Or is it blackmail and barter and just raw survival?
It's a fascinating, messy tangle of ethics. We're going to look at Ma, a mother who is hoarding resources to protect her child. We're going to look at Boomba, the thief, who has his own heartbreaking reasons for what he does. And we are going to look at the collapse of systems, big and small.
So buckle up, or maybe grab a glass of ice water while you still can. Let's start with the setting, because you can't understand the people without understanding the pressure cooker they're in. Section 1, the anatomy of a collapse.
What struck me most about Majumdar's world building, even before the food or the water, is the lighting. It's a nocturnal world. The heat during the day is so intense that life has fundamentally inverted.
That detail about the sparrows, that really stuck with me.
The sparrows, yes. It's such a small, perfect detail.
It really is. The idea that birds who we associate with the morning, with sunrise, with that whole Disney princess waking up moment, are now awake and chirping at night because the day is simply too hot for biology to function. It's not just a cute detail. It signals that the fundamental rhythm of the planet is broken.
It's total upheaval. And you see it everywhere. It's not just the heat, it's the water. It's this erratic violence of the climate. You either have a crushing drought where the groundwater is failing completely.
So the taps are just dry?
The taps are dry,
Right.
Or there are fights over the municipal water truck. Or you have massive destructive floods. There's no middle ground anymore. It creates this constant state of anxiety because you don't know if you're going to die of thirst or die from drowning.
And amidst this ruin, you have this stark, almost obscene symbol of inequality, the hexagon.
The hexagon. This feels like something straight out of a dystopian movie, like Elysium or something, but it's described so matter-of-factly that it feels terrifyingly plausible.
So what is it exactly?
It's a floating island in the river.
A private island, essentially, in the middle of the city.
Essentially, yes. It's the home of the city's remaining billionaire. And while the rest of Kolkata is literally baking to death, the hexagon creates its own weather.
It creates some weather.
It has misting systems, it has transplanted rainforests, it has air conditioning that hums 24/7. It highlights the central economic thesis of the book, which is that climate change doesn't hit everyone equally. The author creates this new caste system. You have the leavers and the stayers.
Let's define those, because that is absolutely the core division of this new world.
So the leavers are the lucky ones,
Mm.
the incredibly, unbelievably lucky few. Our main family, Ma, her father Dadu, and her little daughter Mishti, they are leavers. They have managed to obtain climate visas.
Which is described in the book as supplication before gods. That's the phrase used.
It's a religious experience. Getting that stamp in your passport is the difference between life and death. It's the golden ticket out of a dying world. And what that implies is that survival itself is now a bureaucratic privilege, not a human right.
It's something you have to apply for and be granted. And then you have the stayers.
Which is the vast majority. The 99.9% of people who are left behind. People like the ironing man on the street who is still pressing shirts for jobs that probably don't pay enough to buy clean water. Or the ration shop owner who is facing mob violence because he simply doesn't have enough grain to give out.
And that resentment between the leavers and the stayers is palpable in the book. It isn't just, oh, I'm jealous you have more money.
No.
It's, I'm angry that you get to live and I have to die.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It is existential envy. And that brings us to the food. Because if you really want to understand the desperation in this book, the day-to-day reality, you have to look at the menu.
Oh, the menu. It's horrifying.
The food chain has completely and utterly broken down. There's no other way to put it.
The descriptions of the food are so visceral. I mean, real fish. Forget about it. Gone.
They've migrated north to cooler waters. Or they've just died out. The entire coastal ecosystem has collapsed from the heat and the pollution.
So what are people eating instead? What's for sale in the markets?
Well, you have snails. Snails collected from village porches after the floods. You have shrimp that are described as being as thin as pins.
Just tiny little slivers.
Tiny. And then, a personal nightmare, synthetic rui fish.
Okay, you have to tell me about the synthetic fish, because this isn't like the Impossible Burger we have now, right? This isn't a high-tech, luxury vegan option.
No, this is survival slurry. Majumdar describes it as having scales that fly in the wind because they aren't real. They're just flakes of something.
Yeah.
Synthetic. The texture's all wrong. It's mushy. It doesn't taste right.
It's the uncanny valley of food. It looks sort of like fish, maybe, from a distance, but your body knows it's a lie.
Exactly. Your body knows. And that psychological toll is huge. The family isn't just hungry for calories. They are hungry for dignity. They crave a simple egg or cauliflower. That craving for real food, for authentic food, it drives so much of the plot.
Flower, as the toddler Mishti calls it.
Exactly. That innocence. When a 2-year-old is dreaming of a vegetable, using her baby talk to ask for flower, you'll know things are dire. It anchors the horror in something so sweet and so terribly sad.
So we have the stage set. A burning city, fake food, and this sharp, brutal divide between those who get to leave and those who are forced to stay.
A perfect storm of desperation.
Let's look at our players in this storm. We have the family unit, who we can think of, at least at the start, as the guardians in this scenario. Let's start with Ma.
Ma is the pragmatist. She is the engine of this family's escape. Her husband, Baba, he's already in Ann Arbor, Michigan. He's a scientist. He got out first. Ma is left behind to wrap up their lives in Kolkata and bring their daughter and her father over.
So she's carrying the full weight of this escape on her shoulders.
The full weight. But here is where her character gets so complex and so interesting. Ma isn't just a passive victim of this world. She's an active participant. She is the manager of a shelter for climate migrants.
Which sounds noble. On paper, she's a humanitarian. She's helping people.
It does. She is supposed to be helping the most vulnerable people imaginable, those who have lost their homes to the rising sea, to the floods. But she is stealing from them.
She is skimming off the top.
She is. She is taking onions from the kitchen. She takes rice from the stores, protein bars. She even steals eggs that were donated to the shelter by the billionaire from the hexagon.
See, this is what I love about this book. It challenges you immediately. Ma is stealing food meant for refugees. By any standard moral definition, that is corrupt, that is wrong, but she justifies it.
She justifies it entirely through the lens of motherhood. She sees her own family's needs as paramount. She's hoarding this food for her daughter, Mishti. In her mind, she's thinking, I need to keep my child alive and healthy until we get on that plane. It's not about getting rich. It's about getting through the week.
It forces you, the listener, to ask, what would I do if my kid was hungry and there was a crate of eggs meant for 100 strangers? Would I take one? Would I take two?
It's the classic lifeboat ethics problem. When the ship is sinking, does morality go overboard first? Ma really challenges our simple definition of corruption. Is a mother stealing food for her child corrupt? Or is she just desperate? And notice, she isn't stealing luxuries. She's stealing onions and rice.
The absolute basics. Then you have Daddy, the grandfather. He feels like a very different energy. He isn't practical and hard-edged like Ma.
Not at all. Dadu is the soul of the city. He's a poet, a dreamer. He loves the eccentricities of Kolkata. He talks about the street corner philosophers, the cleverness of the crows, the local jokes. He is what ties them to this place.
But he's deeply conflicted about leaving.
Deeply. He is leaving for America, for safety, for his granddaughter's future, but he feels like he is leaving his entire identity behind. He has this profound fear of becoming a ghost in Michigan.
What does he mean by that? A ghost?
That fear of the immigrant experience, of being diminished and misunderstood in a new land, is palpable. He knows he will be physically safe in Michigan. He'll have air conditioning, he'll have real food. But will he be himself? Will his jokes translate? Will his poetry matter to anyone?
Will he just be an old man who doesn't speak English well?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just another face in the crowd. And he's the primary caregiver for Mishti, while Ma is running around planning the exit, managing the shelter. Their relationship is the emotional core of the book. He tells her these wonderful stories about zebras in the savannah. He's trying to build a little bubble of beauty to shield her from the horror of their reality.
And then there's Mishti herself, the innocence at the center of it all. She's what, 2 years old?
Just two. She speaks in that adorable baby dialect, goosebutts for goosebumps, twuck for her toy truck.
And flower for cauliflower.
And flower, yes. She represents pure, uncomplicated physical need. She is just hungry. She wants cauliflower. She doesn't understand climate change or visas or geopolitics. She just knows her belly's empty and it hurts.
She is the state.
Exactly. She is the human stakes of this whole crisis, boiled down to one tiny person. Her hunger is what drives the adults to these desperate acts. Without Misty, maybe Ma wouldn't steal from the shelter. Maybe Dadu wouldn't do what he eventually does. She is the reason they have to compromise their morals.
So everything is set. They have the visas. They have the plane tickets. They have a small hoard of stolen food. They just need to survive 7 more days in this hellscape.
Just 7 more days.
And then the catalyst hits. Section 3, the theft.
It happens on day 2, deep in the night. A thief, a young man named Boomba, breaks into their small apartment. And the method is so telling, he climbs a rusty drain pipe and squeezes through a barred window.
And he can only do that because he is starving.
Right. Majumdar writes that his body's deprivation comes to his aid. He is so emaciated, so skinny from hunger, that he can slip through the defenses that are meant to keep people like him out.
That is a dark, dark irony. His hunger is his superpower in that moment.
It really is. It's a sociological commentary on inequality. The rich build walls, but the poor become thin enough to walk right through them.
So he gets into the house, and he finds Ma's purse. Now he's looking for 2 things, food or money. He finds the stash Ma stole from the shelter, the lentils, the rice, the cashews, raisins, a tin of milk powder. He takes all of that, but he also takes the purse itself.
And inside that purse are the passports. The 3 blue passports containing the golden tickets. The climate visas.
And the most tragic part of this whole thing, he doesn't even know what they are.
No, he has no concept of them. He thinks they're bank booklets or some other kind of useless official paper. So later, he throws them away. He unknowingly steals their entire future while he's just trying to steal their dinner.
He also steals Mishti's little toy truck, her twuck.
Yeah.
Which just seems like such a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but for a 2-year-old, that is her whole world.
It is. It's one of her few possessions.
Oh.
And the aftermath of this theft is really where we see the total collapse of the system. Ma and Dadu wake up, they realize the passports are gone, and their first instinct is, of course, to go to the police.
As you would.
As you would.
Yeah.
And this scene at the police station, If you've ever dealt with frustrating bureaucracy, it's that times 1,000. But this is bureaucracy in a completely failed state.
Oh, it is brutal. The police officer is just completely apathetic. He's eating a sandwich. He's totally unbothered. He doesn't even want to take a report. He basically accuses them of insurance fraud.
He does. He asks if they were hoarding food or running some kind of illegal business from their home. The irony, of course, is that Ma was hoarding, but that's not the point. The point is the state's absolute refusal to help its citizens.
The officer says something like, I am dealing with 50 assaults per day over ration cards. I don't have time for your lost and found.
That's the line. And then he tells them, go to a ration shop and find some rice for the sweetie. Just dismisses them completely. And the realization hits them so hard. The police will not save them. The government will not save them. They are utterly on their own.
It forces them into this mode of what you could call community policing.
Mhm.
They have to solve this themselves. But before we get to their investigation, we have to talk about the thief. Because the book does something very clever. It doesn't let us hate him.
Not for a second.
Right. So let's do a deep dive into Boomba. Who is this kid? Because it would be so easy to paint him as the villain of the story. He stole the tickets to freedom. But his backstory, it just breaks you.
It really does. Boomba is himself a climate refugee. He's from a village in the Sundarbans that was destroyed by floods and saltwater intrusion. His entire backstory is a roadmap of cascading climate trauma.
Let's start with his father.
His father was a honey collector, and he was attacked by a tiger while deep in the mangrove forest.
Wait, let's just pause on that. Attacked by a tiger. That sounds like something from another century.
It does, but it highlights how humans are being pushed back into conflict with nature because of resource scarcity. When the crops fail because salt water from the rising sea level contaminates the fields, which is happening right now in the Sundarbans, by the way, people have to find other ways to make money. So they go deeper into the forest to find wild honey to sell.
And the forest is dangerous.
The forest is dangerous. It's a classic cascade effect. The climate fails, so the agriculture fails, the human enters the wild for resources, and the human gets hurt. It's all connected.
And then there's the fire.
The fire. As a teenager, Boomba was trying to be helpful. He was trying to dry his baby brother Roby's clothes over a cooking pot, and he accidentally burned down their home.
Oh my God.
He carries this immense crushing guilt for that. His mother screamed at him, asked if he had sawdust for brains, and that phrase just haunts him. So he migrated to the city to try and redeem himself, to earn enough money to bring his parents and his little brother Roby to the safety of the city. He wants to be their guardian.
So when he steals from Ma's family, he isn't doing it out of malice. He's doing it for the exact same reason Ma steals from the shelter. He's trying to feed his family. He's trying to secure a home for them.
Precisely. And he's been scammed and beaten down by the city himself. He worked as a delivery boy and he got robbed by the police. He worked as a boatman. He eventually ended up in Ma's shelter, actually.
That is the crucial connection, isn't it? They've met before.
They have. Ma's the one who admitted him to the shelter. She bent the rules because he looked so young and desperate. But the shelter was overcrowded and dangerous. He ended up sleeping in a room with a sick baby who had dengue fever. He fled the shelter out of fear of disease, and that is what led him, that very night, to break into Ma's house.
It's just this inescapable cycle of desperation. Ma helps him, sort of, but the help isn't enough, so he flees and then he robs her. It's just people with nothing bouncing off each other.
And about those passports, he takes him to a massive garbage hill on the edge of the city and just dumps them, tosses them onto the pile.
Because to him, they have no value. Food has value. Cash has value. A toy truck has value. But these little blue booklets...
They're meaningless. He doesn't even dream of leaving the country. It is a concept completely outside his reality. It just shows how the climate visa creates two different species of humanigurd. Those who can fly away and those who are tethered to the burning ground.
So the passports are gone. The police are useless. Ma and Dadu have to become their own private detectives. Which brings us to the neighbors. Section 5, the investigation.
And this section brings in a little bit of, I don't want to say levity, but eccentricity. We meet Mrs. Sen. She lives next door with her two parrots, Abba and Beegies.
Abba and Beegies. I love that detail. Even in the apocalypse, we still have disco parrots.
We do. But even she is struggling. You see it in the little details. She's feeding the parrots apples and cinnamon sugar because proper bird feed is gone. But the important thing is she has a security camera.
The only one on the block, probably.
Probably. And on that camera, they see the thief. But the image is blurry, it's dark, it's raining. It takes Mishy the toddler to crack the case. She points at the screen and yells, "Scooby-Doo!" Scooby-Doo!
The thief is wearing a faded Scooby-Doo t-shirt. You can't make this stuff up. Well, Majumdar did, but it feels so incredibly real.
It sparks the hunt for Scooby-Doo. Ma and Dadu get a printout of the blurry figure and just start walking the city in the rain, showing it to everyone. And this part of the book serves as a tour of this broken, struggling city. They meet a barber, an ironing man, mechanics. Everyone is just barely hanging on.
But they finally get a break. Dadu has an old connection, an editor at a newspaper who helps enhance the video, make it a bit clearer. With that clearer image, they find a stationery shop owner who recognizes the shirt. And the reason he recognizes it is because Boomba stole that shirt from his clothesline a few days earlier.
It's a chain of theft. Boomba stole the shirt. Then he wore the stolen shirt to steal the food. And the shopkeeper mentions this one crucial detail. The thief dropped a cooling handkerchief. A specific brand with a specific logo on it that was donated by the billionaire from the Hexagon.
And the penny drops for Ma.
The penny drops. She recognizes it immediately. She thinks, wait a second, I have boxes of those handkerchiefs at the shelter. The call is coming from inside the house. The thief is one of her own residents.
This leads directly to the confrontation. Section 6. Ma goes to the shelter that night. She finds Boomba. She's ready to threaten him, to drag him to the police. She thinks she has all the power. She has the upper hand because she is the manager, the authority figure. She is the guardian of the shelter.
She walks in with all this righteous anger.
Exactly. But here's the brilliant twist. She confronts him, and instead of cowering or running away, Boomba just grins at her, and he says, I saw you.
Chilling. I saw you.
I saw you stealing the eggs. I saw you taking the rice from the storeroom. He flips the script entirely. All her moral authority vanishes in that one sentence.
It becomes a case of mutually assured destruction. If she turns him in for theft, he tells the police, and more importantly, the billionaire who funds the shelter, that the shelter manager is a thief herself.
And a police case, even a minor one, would absolutely ruin her visa chances immediately. She is completely trapped. She can't touch him.
So Boomba, now holding all the cards, he makes a deal. He admits he threw the passports away. He says, I can show you where they are, but I have a condition.
And the condition is it's audacious. He wants her house.
He wants her house.
Yes.
Not just to crash there for a few nights. He wants the keys. He wants the title, or at least possession of it. He wants to move his family, his parents, and his brother Roby into her apartment when she leaves for America. He essentially demands a transfer of property in exchange for information.
It is a staggering demand. Give me your home, your single greatest asset, and I might help you find your ticket out of here.
And Ma, she agrees. Or at least she agrees to the first part of the deal. She has no choice. She needs to find those passports, so she takes him to the garbage hill.
This scene, Ma climbing the garbage hill in the middle of a monsoon downpour, it's described so vividly. A literal mountain of the city's waste. Rotting electronics, food waste, plastic, just everything. She's scrabbling through this muck in the dark, looking for 3 small blue booklets.
It's a descent. It's a physical descent into filth, but it's also a psychological one. Ma looks around and she realizes she is one step, one stolen passport away from being one of the people who scavenge on that hill for survival every single day. The line between lever and stayer is dissolving in the rain.
She finds a small package of gems, those little candy-coated chocolates.
A tiny, sad little treasure.
Oh, she does not find the passports. They are gone, buried under tons of new garbage or washed away or taken by someone else. They're just gone. That packet of gems feels like a consolation prize from a cruel universe. Here, have some chocolate while your entire future dissolves into nothing.
So now, the legitimate path, the hope of finding the real visas, is closed. Ma has to turn to the underground city.
She goes to a photocopy shop she had previously dismissed as a scam, and behind a Friends poster, specifically the episode, the one with Ross's teeth, there's a hidden door.
I love that detail so much. A Friends poster hiding a high-tech passport forgery ring. It's that perfect mix of the mundane pop culture of our world and the criminal underworld of hers.
So she goes into this secret room, and she buys high-quality fake passports. The forger calls the immigration system a pipe with many ends. He assures her it will work. But the price is steep. She has to pay with her mother's gold bangles.
She is trading her past, her heirlooms, her family history for a forged future. It's a huge sacrifice.
And while Ma is off hunting for these fake papers, Dadu is on his own parallel descent. While she's hunting for passports, Dadu is hunting for food. Mishti is starving. She's wailing for flour.
This is where Dadu, the gentle poet, the dreamer, finally breaks. He tries to beg for food at a ration shop. He even lies, saying Mishti has diabetes and needs special food, but it's chaos. The shop owner is attacked by a mob fighting over grain. Dadu has to flee.
And he ends up at a neighbor's house, a house called Ashirbud, which means blessing. And through the window, he sees them. Fresh cauliflowers. A massive, unimaginable luxury.
And Dadu, he just snaps. He breaks in.
He physically assaults a man, he grabs his ankle and pulls it out from under him, he shoves the man's wife, he steals 2 cauliflowers and some canned food.
This is the man who writes rhymes for his granddaughter. The man who loves the eccentricities of the city. And here he is, beating a neighbor for a vegetable.
It's his rock bottom. He has the realization that he's become part of the city's cruelty that he so disdained. He brings the food home and they feast on it. Mishti finally eating that cauliflower is described as a moment of pure, unadulterated joy, but it's tainted by the violence it took to get it.
The oil is dripping down their chins. Majumdar describes it as both ecstatic and grotesque.
It's survival. They are eating the fruits of violence, and for that one moment, they don't care. That is the horror the book forces us to confront. Hunger doesn't care about ethics.
Not one bit.
So, Ma has fake passports, Dadu has become a thief for food, and to make matters worse, Boomba has moved into their storeroom, claiming his territory as per their deal. It feels like this tense, uneasy truce. But then, day 5 hits. The climax.
Ma wakes up in the morning, the door to their apartment is unlatched, Mishti is gone, Boomba is gone.
The panic is absolute. It's every parent's worst nightmare. They frantically search the neighborhood. They go back to Mrs. Sen's camera, and they see it. They see Boomba on the footage taking Mishti away on a rickshaw.
They manage to track down the rickshaw driver, who calls his service Discount Uber, and he tells them the destination, the Hexagon.
The billionaire's island. Why? Why would he take her there?
Because today is the annual feast for the poor, but there's a catch. It's specifically for children and their guardians.
So Boomba needed a child to get in.
He kidnapped Mishti to use her as his ticket to a meal.
Ma and Dadu rush to the jetty. And it's just chaos. A massive crush of desperate people all trying to get on the ferries to the island. The guards stop Ma. The boats are full. She tries to swim. She literally jumps into the murky, polluted river, but the current is too strong. She fails. She can't get to her daughter.
But the narrative then shifts perspective, which is a brilliant move. We go to the island, and we see it through Boomba's and Mishti's eyes. And this is fascinating. Boomba isn't hurting her at all. He is treating her to the feast he promised her. He gives her ice cream, jalebi, all these sweets.
Mishti is happy. She thinks this is a grand adventure. She's holding a white rooster she named Titanic. She's eating. She's not scared.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And the contrast between the island and the city is just staggering. The Hexagon has basketball courts and manicured rainforests and air conditioning everywhere. It is a literal paradise floating in a river of filth. Boomba is playing the role of guardian to gain entry. But in that moment on the island, he is guarding her. He is feeding her when her own family couldn't.
And there's that heartbreaking detail about Boomba's old friend, Shanto, who he meets on the ferry.
Yes. Shanto is there, and he's just grieving. His own young son died of cerebral malaria a few weeks before because he couldn't afford sugar water to keep him hydrated. That little backstory just haunts the entire feast. We were watching one child, Mishti, enjoying this incredible feast, sitting next to a boy whose counterpart, Shanto's son, died for the lack of a few rupees worth of sugar.
It just emphasizes the brutal randomness of survival in this world.
It does. Mishti is alive because she has a series of flawed guardians. Ma, Dadu, even Boomba in this moment. Shanto's son is dead because the system failed him completely.
Exactly. And the book essentially ends on this cliffhanger. Mishti is safe for the moment, on the island, eating ice cream. Ma is distraught on the shore, locked out. The fake passports are ready, but will they even work? Will Boomba actually give the house back, or will he keep it forever? It's all unresolved.
But the unresolved tension is the point, isn't it? The story isn't about the destination, really. It's about the cost of the ticket.
So let's zoom out then. What does this all mean? Let's go back to the title. A guardian and a thief.
Well, the lines are completely irrevocably blurred. Ma is a guardian to her daughter, Mishti, but she's a thief to the people of the shelter. Boomba is a thief to Ma's family, but he's trying to be a guardian to his own family back in the village, and he even acts as a guardian to Mishti at the feast.
And Dadu, the gentle guardian Dadu, becomes a violent thief for a cauliflower.
Exactly. Everyone wears both hats. In a world of such profound scarcity, can you even be just a guardian?
That's the question. Can you protect your own without taking from someone else.
I don't think so. I think what Majumdar is arguing is that survival itself requires theft. You have to take from someone else, whether it's resources, time, space, and opportunity to keep your own alive. The moral purity we aspire to in our world is a luxury. It's a luxury of abundance. When the water runs out, morality evaporates with it.
That is a chilling thought. Morality is a luxury of abundance.
And you see, crystallized in that climate visa, it is the ultimate tool of division. It decides who gets to live in the air-conditioned future and who is left behind to boil in the past. It's the mechanism that creates this entire moral crisis.
It makes me think about ownership, too. Ma thinks she owns the house, but Boomba just takes it. Ma thinks she owns the passports, their future, but Boomba just throws them in the trash. In a collapsing world, you only own what you can physically hold in your hands at that exact moment.
Or what you can eat.
Wow. Okay, that is a lot to process. A guardian and a thief. It's one of those books that makes you look at your own air conditioning and your own full grocery store a little differently.
It certainly does. It poses a very uncomfortable question to all of us. If the water stopped running tomorrow and the shelves were empty, who would you become? Would you be the guardian? Or would you be the thief?
And I think the scary answer the book gives us is you would probably have to be both.
Almost certainly both.
Thank you for listening to this deep dive. It's a heavy one, but a really important one. We will see you next time. And I'll stay cool out there.
Goodbye.